I don't know you personally, but I think one of the things that could be holding you back in life and in business could be that you're overthinking things. Welcome to another episode of #Winning. Uriel King, your CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. Today, I'm going to talk to you about striking while the iron is hot. This is probably one of the biggest things that I see holding people, health professionals, business owners back from getting closer to the goals they say they want. How this shows up, and again, as with all these videos, I want you to think about this through the lens of how this affects you, but also how this affects how people coming into your world show up as well. Because remember, what you see in your reality is a reflection of you and yourself. So if you show up in this way, other people will as well. And how this shows up is you have a discovery call to a prospective client. They say, this all sounds great. I want to think it over. They think it over, and then they ghost you, or they send you an email saying, after thinking about it, I decided to go a different direction. Okay? So the idea that I want you to think about is when you are in the heat of the moment and you are considering doing something, that is when you want to take action. And I think Tony Robbins probably said something along the lines of it, never leave the sight of setting a goal without doing something towards its achievement, something along those lines. It's the same idea here. It's when you know something is right for you to do. Now, this is the key distinction. When you know it's the right thing for you to do. I'm not saying do something that is impulsive and you don't internally believe that it's the right thing for you to do. But if you are making a decision around anything, you have to do it in that moment. Because as I've said many times before, time kills all dreams. Okay? Time kills all deals on the sales front, and time kills all dreams in the sense of delaying and procrastinating and waiting for things to be perfect and waiting for your ducks to be in a row, which they never will be. So, there's all sorts of things, right? He who hesitates is lost. But I want you to think about this. Hesitation feeds failure and momentum feeds success. I think if there's anything that I've done well over my 20 plus years in business, and even before then, was just go, just don't overthink it, just go. As an example, I just finished a swim, and it's early October, middle of October, kind of relatively chilly outside. The pool's at about 65 Fahrenheit. Finished the workout in the morning, literally walked upstairs, put on my bathing suit, didn't overthink it, jumped in the pool, spent 2-3 minutes in the cold water. That was it. I didn't stand there thinking about, can I do this? Is it going to be cold? What if just go, just dive into the water. And I see so many people just stand on the outside of the pool or not even leave the house. I'm like, I don't know, it's too cold. Just shut up and go, okay? Especially if it's something you believe it's what you want to do and you need to do, you just got to go. The more you think, and this is such a great analogy, if you think of cold plunging as such a great analogy for everything in life, the more you think about the cold plunge, the harder it gets. Just get in the friggin' water, okay? In business, if you are going to make a decision, just make it. Just go. Just do it. Don't overthink it. How are you supposed to make a good decision? You're never going to have all the information until you're on the inside, right? So you have to believe that things are always working out for you. And even if it doesn't work out the way you anticipated it to, it's always working out for you in a way that's better. And it may not seem like that in the moment, but retrospectively, when you're looking back on things, it'll be like, oh, thank God that worked out the way it did. So the biggest competitor that you're facing in life is not people in your space. It's not other colleagues. It's not other businesses. It's not an economy, whatever the economy is doing. The biggest competitor you're dealing with is apathy, is complacency, is inertia in the wrong direction of your goals. And apathy loves time. Basically what I'm talking about is you have you're here at the point of decision, and the more time you take, the more apathy is yeah. Lack of action feeds doubts. The longer you think about things and the less action you take, the more doubt increases. And the more doubt increases, the less action you're willing to take because you're scared out of your pants. This is why I say time kills all deals. In the context of a selling conversation, I can promise you guys, the vast majority of people who say they want to think about it, they're never going to work with you. It's going to be 10% of those people will actually enroll afterwards. And at the same time, the fortune is in the follow-up. But the reality is, if you actually want to build a viable business, you have to be very good at helping people change. especially in a coaching environment where they actually have to do something different than what they're currently doing. And that's not easy. And this is why we procrastinate. This is why we put things off. This is why we don't strike while the iron is hot, is because we're about to do something that is uncomfortable, it's hard, it's new, and all of that equals uncertainty. And uncertainty is like the enemy of the reptilian brain, the lower self, that small little reptilian brain inside of you that wants to keep you safe and playing small. The more you feed that, man, the more you lose in life. You will play small, you won't hit your goals, you'll still be in the same position you are now a year from now. That's what you got to be afraid of. Not jumping into the pool, not making that investment in yourself. It's you have to get associated to you being exactly where you are right now, no matter how good or shitty that is a year from now. And you got to find a way to get massively uncomfortable about that. Because again, if there's no pain, there's no change. So one is you get connected to the amount of pain you're going through and you just say like, fuck it, I'm going to take action. Two is you don't even think about it, is you just go, like you literally work on autopilot. Is when something feels right to you, like if you're an intuitive person, which ironically, I find this actually pretty funny. So many people who say they're intuitive people are the complete opposite of it. I'm an intuitive person, but I need 7 days to think about this. You're full of shit. You're just scared out of your fucking pants. That's it. You're an intuitive person. We all are. If you actually tap into like the real you, but what's holding you back is you're scared shitless of uncertainty. And that's never going to change until you take action and get on the inside, whatever the inside is for you. And so until that decision is made, you will always be on the outside looking in, always on the outside wondering what if. Meanwhile, anyone else in your situation who took the plunge, who made the decision, who went in, now they have the full picture. And this is the same thing you see on any website, right? Testimonials. What would you suggest to someone who's considering working with us? Oh my God, definitely just do it. You see this, it doesn't matter what business it is, because once you're on the inside, you recognize that it's actually not that bad. And if I go back to the analogy of jumping in a freezing cold pool or a cold plunge, it's so much worse in our head than it is in the water. And the other thing is like, when you're in the water, if you start to panic and like, if you go into that panic state, it actually feels worse. Right? Because now like you're just going crazy, like reptilian brain and body's going all over the place. The best thing you can do is just be calm and understand that everything's going to be fine. And I think there's such a great analogy for everything in life. So again, I share this with you because last year, 2023, we lost north of $4 million in potential revenue. We lost $4 million, okay, in potential revenue from people who said, I'm in, I just need to think about it for a moment. I'm in. I just need to make sure the moon is in alignment with Jupiter. I'm in. I just have to insert bullshit excuse. Okay. Now I don't want to be super like overly pessimistic, but when you see patterns, like people are people, right? Technology changes, people don't. So as fast as the world is moving, humans are humans, and they will always be the same. And the reality is I share this with you because it's very frustrating to not become better at helping people move across the line, especially if your business depends on you speaking with prospective clients who say they want to change, say they want to lose weight, say they want better habits, say they want all these outcomes. But when push comes to shove and they have to make a decision, they freeze. They get scared because they don't have certainty, or they don't really want what they say they want. Okay, so that's the big thing. So the key here in this conversation is I'm not saying chase shiny objects and go from one thing to the next. No. I'm saying when you know something is right for you to do, you go. Like you don't even think about it, you just go. And another great analogy of this is car racing. You cannot think in a vehicle that's driving 250 or 300 kilometers an hour. Actually, even in the movie Maverick, I think Tom Cruise talks about this. Like he says something along the lines of like, don't think, just do. When you're in the cockpit flying a F-18, which I would love to do, when you're in that cockpit and you're flying at that speed, you don't have time to think. You have to act. And it's the same thing in business and it's the same thing in life. Thinking, as I said, is a very valuable activity for sure. But an idea delayed is a dream denied. The longer you think, the more you'll think yourself out of the dream you say you want. So don't overthink things. When you know you have to do something, strike while the iron is hot. Take action, commit, and when you're on the inside, you'll recognize that it's not as scary as you thought it was. I'm going to share with you the number one thing you should be focusing on in the coming year to grow your business in an overly skeptical marketplace.